Your brain isn't broken, it's just waiting for three signals. What if that feeling of everything is slightly off isn't a problem with you, but a signal your brain has been waiting for you to send? You have been sitting there doing absolutely nothing wrong. No crisis, no catastrophe. Just a Tuesday evening, the phone in your hand, the scroll that leads nowhere. You switch to music, still nothing. You open a motivation video, still nothing. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet question forms. Why can't I just feel okay? Not euphoric, not extraordinary, just okay for no reason, without earning it first. Over 100,000 mental health apps available right now. A self-help market generating over $13 billion a year. And yet you are still sitting there, feeling exactly the same way you felt before you downloaded any of it. And not sad, not broken, just off. Like a radio that's almost tuned in but not quite. And here is the part that changes everything. Your brain already knows how to fix this. Not tomorrow, not after you rebuild your routine or finally get enough sleep or sort out your finances. Right now, in the next few seconds. Because what you're experiencing isn't a character flaw or a chemical imbalance or evidence that something is wrong with you. It's a signal problem. Your brain is waiting for the right input. And once you know how to send it, everything shifts. There are three specific signals, three switches that your brain is already wired to respond to. And the third one is the reason I need you to stay until the end. Because the first two will help you feel better today. Then the third one changes how your brain responds to every difficult moment for the rest of your life. Most people never learn it, and I'm not going to let you leave without it. Before we get to the tricks, you need to understand one thing about your brain. It was not designed to make you happy. That is not its job. Its job is to keep you alive, to detect threats, to react fast, to flood your system with chemicals before you've had a single conscious thought. This is why you can wake up anxious without knowing why. This is why a small comment from someone can ruin your entire afternoon. This is why the hollow feeling arrives without an invitation. Your brain scanned the environment, decided something felt uncertain or unsafe, and started reacting. All in milliseconds, all before your logical mind had a chance to weigh in. And here is what that means for you. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are not failing at life. You are a person with a brain doing exactly what it was built to do. The problem isn't the brain. The problem is that nobody taught you how to interrupt the loop. That changes right now. And the first interruption is one you can use in the next 30 seconds. Your brain does not just create your emotions. It also reads your body to decide what emotions to create. This sounds simple. The implications are enormous. Right now, without changing a single thought in your head, do this with me. Gently raise your eyebrows just slightly. Relax your jaw. Let the corners of your mouth lift. Not a big smile, not a performance, just a soft, almost imperceptible shift. And hold it. 10 seconds. 15. Here is what just happened. Your brain received a physical signal that said, "We are safe." And when your brain believes you are safe, it begins reducing stress hormones and creating space for feel-good chemicals to move in. You did not force happiness. You did not pretend. You signaled safety. And your brain believed it because your brain trusts your body more than it trusts your thoughts. This is called the facial feedback effect, and it has been studied for decades. But here is why most people never benefit from it. They wait. They think, I'll smile when I feel like smiling. I'll stand up straight when I feel confident. I'll breathe slowly when I feel calm. But that is exactly backwards. The signal comes first. The emotion follows. Society taught you that feelings create behavior. Neuroscience shows the opposite is also true. Behavior creates feelings. And your face, your posture, the way you're holding your shoulders right now, your brain is reading all of it all the time and adjusting your chemistry accordingly. So the next time you feel flat or off or stuck, don't wait to feel differently before you move differently. Move first. Soften the face, open the posture, take one slow breath. You're not faking it. You are sending a signal, and your brain, trained by millions of years of evolution, will respond. But here is what I haven't told you yet. This trick only activates one part of the system. There is a second signal your brain needs, and without it, the first one has a ceiling. What comes next removes that ceiling entirely. There is a specific kind of suffering that doesn't look like suffering from the outside. It looks like lying in bed at 11 p.m. replaying a conversation from 3 days ago. It looks like sitting in traffic not actually thinking about traffic, but thinking about something that might happen next week. It looks like a brain that won't stop, won't slow down, won't let you just exist for 5 consecutive minutes without pulling you somewhere else. You know this feeling. And you probably think the solution is to calm down, to think better thoughts, to distract yourself until it passes. But here is what actually works. Name it. That's it. The moment you feel the spiral starting, the stress, the overwhelm, the unnamed dread, say it. Out loud or silently, it doesn't matter. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling that specific kind of tired that isn't about sleep, just the name. No analysis, no solution. No 3-page journal entry required. Here is why this is so powerful. Your brain operates in 2 modes: reacting mode, fast, emotional, survival-driven, and thinking mode, slower, logical, observational. When emotions spike, your brain slams into reacting mode and your logical mind essentially goes offline. You stop processing and start just feeling. But the moment you label the emotion, something neurologically significant happens. You force your brain to observe rather than react. The labeling itself requires the logical brain to activate, and you cannot be fully consumed by an emotion and fully observing it at the same time. One interrupts the other, every single time. Think of it this way. When the storm is inside you, you are soaked. When you name the storm, you are suddenly watching it through a window. Same storm, and completely different experience. And when you combine this with the face feedback from the first trick, the soft face, the open posture, the slow breath, you are now sending 2 simultaneous signals to your nervous system: safety from the body, clarity from the mind. The compounding effect is real. People who practice both together report the shift happening faster, lasting longer, feeling more complete. But none of this, not the face, not the labeling, not the combination of both, releases what the third trick releases. And I want to be specific about that. The first 2 tricks interrupt the bad state. The third one builds something new in its place, something that compounds over time, something that most people spend their entire lives getting completely backwards. And once you see it, you will never be able to unsee it. Here is the myth. Dopamine, your brain's primary motivation and reward chemical, is released when you succeed, when you finish, when you achieve, so you wait. You wait until the project is done, until the situation improves, until you finally feel ready. And the dopamine never comes because you never start. And because you never start, you never get the dopamine. And without the dopamine, you have no motivation to start. The loop feeds itself, and you sit there wondering why you feel so flat, so stuck, so perpetually behind. But here is what the research actually shows, and this is the part that most people never hear. The myth is completely wrong. And once I tell you what's actually true, you will understand why you were never the problem. Here is the truth that changes the loop forever. Dopamine is not released after progress, and it is released during progress, even microscopic progress, even progress so small it seems almost embarrassing to count. Right now, do one thing. Sit up straighter, take 1 slow, deliberate breath. Drink a sip of water. Close 1 tab you don't need. That's it. Something that takes 10 seconds or less. Because here is what just happened inside your brain. Your brain detected movement. It detected a task, initiated and completed. And it released dopamine. Not a flood, not the dopamine of finishing a marathon, but a genuine, real neurochemical signal that says, we are moving, things are happening, keep going. And that small signal is enough. Enough to make the next action slightly easier, and the one after that slightly easier still. This is how momentum works at the neurological level. It doesn't start with motivation. It starts with movement. One small movement that gives your brain the chemical it needs to want to move more. This is why starting is always the hardest part of anything. Not because you are lazy, not because you lack discipline or willpower or ambition, but because your brain is waiting for a dopamine signal to begin cooperating, and that signal only comes after you move, not before. The people who seem naturally motivated are not different from you. They have just learned, consciously or not, to move before they feel like it, to create the signal instead of waiting for it. You were never lazy, you were starting from the wrong end of the sequence. Now let's put all three together because this is where it becomes real. Picture a gray Wednesday afternoon. Nothing catastrophic has happened, nothing is technically wrong. But everything feels heavy, flat. The thought of doing anything productive feels almost physical in its weight. This is where most people either force themselves through misery or give up entirely and spiral into guilt about giving up. Here's what you do instead. You soften your face, you let your jaw relax, your shoulders drop, your posture opens slightly. You notice what you're feeling and you name it. I'm feeling heavy today, I'm feeling low motivation, I'm feeling that specific afternoon flatness. You don't fix it, you just name it. And then you do one tiny thing. You fill a glass of water, you open the document, you send one message. Something small enough that your brain can complete it in under a minute. And then something shifts. Not dramatically, not all at once. But the nervous system gets the message. Safe, observed, moving. The three signals stack. And your brain, which was waiting for permission to cooperate, starts cooperating. This isn't magic. This isn't manifestation. This is your brain responding to the right inputs in the right sequence. That's all it ever needed. Here's what most people never learn. Happiness is not a destination you arrive at when enough good things accumulate. It is a state your brain enters when it receives the right signals. And you now know how to send three of them. A signal of safety through your body, a signal of clarity through naming, a signal of progress through movement. Three switches, always available. No perfect circumstances required. No waiting until life gets easier, or the situation resolves, or you finally feel ready. Your brain was never broken. It was never failing you. When it was doing exactly what it was designed to do, waiting for input, responding to signals, following the data your body and your actions were giving it. You just didn't know what data to send. Now you do, and that changes everything. Not because your life is different, but because you are no longer waiting for your life to change before you feel differently. You have the switch, you know where it is, and you never have to wait again.